Today I am going to talk about yet another RC airplane, and on my table today is the FMS T-28 850mm. So as I believe this also is available in a 1400mm airplane, but this is the smaller one, the mini T-28 from FMS. And I already have the FMS Ranger 850, so it's a similar sized airplane. I think this one does weight a little bit more than the Ranger, but just as the Ranger, it's a nice quality foam. I suppose they call EPO foam on this one, and I think the T-28 is a nice looking airplane. And especially this one. First of all, it does have a nice cockpit with a pilot inside, as you can see. And I love this paint, red and white on the wingtips. A three-bladed prop always looks nicer than a two-bladed prop, at least in my opinion. And overall, I think that the paint scheme on this one is just nice. Of course, it's a replica of a, I think, US Navy trainer. And yeah, it's a nice looking one. Of course, it has 3 landing wheels, so there's one nose wheel, which, as usual with these airplanes, this is the weak part, because if you have a bad landing, this part might break. I'd say it's nice to see that they actually have a screw, and this one is replaceable. So maybe I could replace this one, because there is no spring damping on this one. Maybe I could purchase another one and put in if this one breaks, which I suppose it will, because it usually only takes one landing. This is a 4-channel airplane, so it does not feature flaps, although I think it could be possible to install flaps on this one, but of course I have to maiden it first. But what I did, because I'm a little bit a sucker for LED lighting, so I did actually perform add LED lighting beforehand, before I actually flew this one. So this I haven't made the maiden yet. I will go out when there's a nice day. But anyway, I did install, first of all, I had these front-facing LED lights, which you can see over here. So to actually install these, I took a drill and I drilled right into the wing, in the center of the wing, into the center part. So the cables for these 2 lights, they are all concealed. But of course, I have to have the wing lights. So on each wing, I have, you can see here, there are 2 LEDs. There's one in the positioning, which is on the right wing, it's green. On the left wing, it's red. And there's a flashing white one. And I actually did the same thing, because I didn't want to cut this red part. So I took a drill and drilled all the way, coming all the way to the servo pit with a servo for the aileron, so it's mounted. And then I ran the cables just alongside the aileron cables, and I put some white tape, so the cable management will be quite nice. And I also, of course, have a tail light, so I put it on on this part, on the rear part, and I also have one on the bottom, which is over here. And of course, as always, I tried to make the rear LED as far back as possible, and preferably I would have it, maybe here or here or here. But it can be really difficult to do wiring, and I don't want to have wiring on the outside. So having a position over here looks, fairly okay. To me at least. But I have to say the assembly of this one was quite easy. I have to glue the rear stabilizer. Of course, I have to put on the servo rods for each control surface. The main wing is just held by 2 screws. The landing gears, this one you have to use a screw to mount. And this is like a special plastic mount, which you in a certain move you attach the landing wheels. So they are removable if you want to hand launch it without wheels. And inside, we'll see, I have to pop the hood. And it's a little bit messy right now, but I will fix this. So inside we see the servos for the elevator and rudder, and then on one side we have the included speed controller, which is over here. I think it's a 20 amp, yes, it's a 20 amp FMS speed controller, so it looks quite nice. And then on the center here I have a Spectrum AR637T, and all the cables inside, they are actually from the LED lighting, most of them. So there is a small tiny yellow controller on this side for the LED lights, and this one also uses, I'm not sure if this one, it might be that there was a T-plug for the battery, but I put on a JST, and I also made a special cable. You can see here, it looks kind of odd, but it's these two thinner wires which are not attached yet. This is goes to the voltage port on the AR637T. So this gives me information about the flight pack. So on this cable is already included in the 637T receiver. So I think just a bit of soldering and some insulation, and you have it really nice. I have to say, when you do put in LED lighting, this one, it does become a bit crammed inside. If you don't, I think there's quite roomy inside, and the AR637T is actually quite a large receiver, but I managed to fit it in the center hole over here. And you put the battery on front, so there is a compartment for the battery, and I put some Velcro on this one. And I also marked the CG point with these two CG markers. So without battery, it is a little bit just slightly tail heavy, but with the battery, I cannot put it, all the way inside of this compartment, because then it would be too nose heavy. Although I think nose heavy might be better than tail heavy. So if you like to, you can certainly do that. And overall, I think this one will look really nice. I have this small FMS T-28, which looks, almost the same, except it is a tiny one, so it doesn't have the cockpit details, and I think the prop is only two-bladed prop. But the paint scheme and the stickers are almost the same. So, I'm eager to fly this one, so let's go outside. So this is going to be a fairly short flight, just to test the T-28 and the LED installation. So I'm going to do a few turns in this soccer field. As always, when you do the maiden, this is like the maiden flight of this one. You're not sure what to expect, and I realized once I got up in the air that this space wasn't really the right location to do a maiden and to adjust settings on this one. So I just said to myself, I will do a few laps and just to see that everything works, and do a short video of the LED installation. But I have to say this, it does fly, if you want to, it does fly really fast. This is also on a 2-cell 1300 milliamp battery, so it's a bit larger than the recommended 1000. And as always, it's always difficult to see the LED lights in daylight, but in real person they look really great. And I really have to get back to this one and do a proper maiden and show a bit more of what this T-28 can do, because it looks so darn nice. So let's land. And well, so far I had to say it's a great looking airplane, but I have to fly it again and get to know this one, because I really want to. It's a nice one, and the LED installation makes it even better. Thank you.